Hey guys, what's going on? So today what we're going to do is we're going to start going over the different cards in the Shards in Armies of Myth, and we're going to do this throughout the week. Hopefully I can get one done every other day or so until the release. The release is just, what are we at, 6, 7, 8 days from now, I think it is. 7 days? 8 days from today, since today's Monday. It comes out next Tuesday. So hopefully I'll be able to go through the cards and finish them by the time the actual set releases there. I wanted to do this for a while, just haven't had time to do it. I wanted to do it a couple weeks ago when the whole set list came out, but regardless, we're going to try to do it now. So the first card that we're going to talk about is Fento, the Brood Priest. This is a 3-cost double blood threshold 1/4. Is a legendary and it's unique. Its card text is you can exhaust and create 3 tarantula eggs for each opposing champion and put them into their decks. Now, this card could be something and it might not be something. It's so hard to say with these types of cards here. I think it'll be okay no matter what format it is. I don't know exactly what I think about this card. Depending on how well, maybe the egg deck archetype might be something. I don't know. We'll see. But it's not horrible for what it does. I think if you could maybe pair it with something that, when you exhaust it, you can, maybe ready this guy again and then get 3 more eggs. So you can maybe do 6 a turn. We'll see. We'll see what it is. I just don't quite know yet exactly about the whole egg thing. We'll see. Next we're going to talk about is the Devouring Doomspore. Now when I first saw this card when they released it, I was like, wow, that's awesome. It's a 6/6 that you can get out for free. The problem is the triple blood threshold is going to hold you back every time. It's got to be in a mono deck, and well, it doesn't have to be, but it's going to work out a lot better. And then the only other cards that really create like some tokens or anything is Wild, and that's like Run to the Spring Litter, and what's the other one? I forget. Run to the Spring Litter and something else. Those guys create those tokens, so getting this out on maybe a turn 3 or a 4 would be possible, but again, you got to run 2 colors, and that triple blood threshold is going to be tough doing that. So I want to like it, but at the same time, I don't think it's that good. It'll definitely be a bomb in limited and sealed and draft. Obviously limited, but again, it's legendary, so you're not going to get it very often. So it might be something, it might not be, but I'm gonna lean towards the fact the guess that it's not going to be anything at all. The next one we have is Disciple of Yazukan, and this isn't a horrible card. I mean, it's not that great. It's definitely limited card. It's I think it's limited anyway. It's 2 cost, 2 blood threshold, 1/1. It's got flight and speed, and when it dies, it goes in your graveyard, obviously. And then when other things start dying, it gets these soul counters put on them, and then it comes back if there's 3 or more. It comes back as a 1/1 again. It's got flight, it's got speed. So it's not that great, but it's not all that bad. It's one of those sticky troops that your opponent's always going to have to deal with. So yeah, maybe. Next one, Exarch of the Egg. Again, here's one of these egg cards here. This one's a 2 cost, 1 blood threshold, 1/3. It's got lethal, so that's good. And it says, when this or another venom enters play under your control, create 2 spiderling eggs for each opposing champion, put them into play. So there's a lot of venom cards in the blood shard this time, so this could pair well with almost anything. Again, it having lethal, it's not a bad way to remove some big scary troops on your opponent's side. It's constructed okay. Limited, probably going to be a lot better limited than it is in constructed. The next one we got here is Noxious Glory, and I like this card all around. It's a 3 casting cost, 2 blood threshold. It's a basic action, which is, not that great, but, as additional cost to play this, sacrifice a troop, and then you can void all other troops with attack 2 or less. So it's good. It's good removal early on, either in limited or constructed. If it was quick action, it would be super powerful, I think. Given some of the other cards, once if you deal damage, to troops and they're all there, and you could actually do this, at the end, after combat. But that would make it. I think it would be way overpriced then. But as it stands now, I think it's a good way to remove troops, maybe a board clear early game. Oh, let's see what's next. Prodigy of Visola, I think they want to call. I think that's how it's called. Volasola. I don't know. Somebody pointed out that all necrotics have names that are pronounced or spelled the same way forward and backwards, and I forget what that's actually called. But anyway, this 3 casting cost, 1 blood threshold, 3/2, and it has one of those like Midnight Shepherd does. You have to meet all 5 colors, and all the necrotics you control have +2/+2, which is an awesome ability. But getting to that can be tough. It can be done, but just not very consistently and not very fast. There is a card that does pair well with this, and we'll get to that one here in a minute. Let's see, the next card, I had to take some notes here about the cards. Next one here is Vampire Princess, and, I don't know about this one. I think it's a nice card, but it's not really that great. It's 3 cost, 3 casting cost, 2 blood threshold. She's got flight, and she's got life drain. The problem is you got to have this in your opening hand, and, to be able to get the... where you can play Vampire Kisses for -3. I think that's what it is. What does that say there? That's when this, and it has to deal damage. So first of all, you have to deal damage, and then you have to reveal a card, and it has to be an action card from your opponent. Then you transform it into a Vampire Kiss, and you put it into your hand. And at the start of the game, if this is in your hand, it gets once per turn for 0. Vampire Kisses in your hand get cost -3. So a lot of stuff has to be met to be able to use those. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's okay. It's a 3 cost, 2/3, so that's not horrible. But I think the card text itself is kind of irrelevant, but it's got life drain and flight. So more times than not, you'll probably be able to get some damage through. It's if you're going to be able to reveal an action card. Let's see what we got next here. Garant's Gift. I want to like this card, but I think it's going to be too slow for constructed or anything like that. That's just my personal opinion. First of all, you got to get them out, and then you have to have something that's not a zombie in your graveyard. So you got to have something that's dead, that's not already been transformed into a zombie. Pay 4 to get it out, and it gets all these socketable major, whatever socket you put in this thing. So it's not an infinite type thing. You can't just keep getting your cards back out because they can't be a zombie. So once they've already transformed, then you're pretty much done, unless you can somehow revert the card in your graveyard. But I just think it's going to be too slow for any serious constructed play. Might be something in draft and sealed. I could certainly see that. Oh, let's see what we got. Next one, we got Mind Rake. And this card here, I'm just not a big fan of. Maybe some of you are, but it's a 5 cost, 1 blood threshold, basic action. You choose a target troop you control. Each troop you control that shares a trait with the chosen troop you can exhaust, and each opposing champion discards a card. Chooses and discards a card. 1, it's 5 cost. 2, you have to be controlling the troops with the same trait. So granted, if you have like necrotics and venons out there, or what have you, humans, shroomkins, shin hair, whatever, they have to be on the board, obviously. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of that card right now. Anyway, we'll obviously try it out. But next one we have here is Necrophet, 5 casting cost, 5/3 troop, and it has a shift ability. It says when this dies, put it in your hand, it gets cost +2. I like the shift ability. He's got a decent back end. He can survive a couple things, or he or she, whatever you want to call that. I do like the shift ability to put it on maybe, a smaller troop that was removed or something along those lines. I mean, so you can get it back. I don't know. again, it's one of those cards that it's not. I don't really want to call situational, but it's just okay. Let's see. Next one we got here is Demon of Dusk, and that is a 5 casting cost, 3 blood threshold. It's a 6/6 flyer, and at the start of your turn, at the start of each opposing champion's turn, you create a Celestial of Dawn for that champion put into their deck. Now, Celestial of Dawn is a 7 casting cost. I think it's a 6/6 flyer, and they get to play it for free if this is still in play. So it's limited bomb for sure. You might be able to use it in constructed, but you want to make sure that this is like a troop that you put out to finish the game, because you don't want them to draw that Celestial of Dawn and be able to play it for free. So I think it's a good limited bomb for sure, and maybe we'll see something of it in constructed here. Let's see here, what else we got here? Zealous. The Zealous Excruciator is a 5 casting cost, a double blood threshold. It's a 5/4 troop. And it's got some really long card text, and the opponent can basically choose pain or suffering. If they choose pain, the 2 cards that they show, it deals damage to them equal to the combined cost of the cards. If they choose suffering, they just discard them. I think the card text is kind of irrelevant. Other than that, it's a 5 cost, 5/4, so it's got a good body on it. So I think they'll be able to do some damage. Good limited card anyway. Oh, what do we got next? Next is Blood Pit Reaver, and that is right here. It's a 6 casting cost, double blood, 6/5. It's got Rage 2. It's at the start of your turn, destroy each troop with the lowest attack. So given its card text there, I think you'll at least be able to swing with this card here. At least, given that it's 6, it's going to hit for 8 the first time. So this is kind of, this is kind of a, I don't want to say a win more card, but when you get this out, you're going to win. I don't think it's ever going to be able to get to the point where it kills itself, but it certainly could. If you're in limited and you get this guy out and the game is going long, this thing could end up killing itself. So you got to watch out for that, because if it's the only card left, it's going to die. But other than that, it's not a bad card. It's a little spendy. There's nothing wrong with a 6 casting cost card in limited, because you probably are going to get there. You're probably going to get there in constructed too, but by the time though we get late game, 6 turn, 7, 8, usually the game's about ready to wrap up, unless you're playing like a mirror match or something along those lines. But all in all, I do like that card a lot. See, next one here we got is Rockcast. Rockcast is it's got some crazy art. I don't like the art on it at all. Anyway, it's a 2 cost, double blood threshold. It's a quick action, destroy target opposing troop with cost 3 or less. So it's a decent cheap removal to remove something that costs 1 more from the field there, and you can do it at the end of your turn. It's a quick action, obviously. So I think all in all, it's not bad. Blood-soaked Brawler is going to be our next one. And this is a 2 cost, 0/2 troop. It's got Rage 1. This can't be blocked with by troops with less attack than this one here. So you're going to be able to swing with it. Should be able to swing with it at least once, if not twice. Because the first time you swing with it, it's going to be 1. So anything with 1 attack is obviously going to be able to block it. But so I think it's not a bad card at all. Definitely. Fits well with the orc deck, obviously. So you should be able to get something and get a couple swings in there, but I'd say a limited card for sure. Next one we have is Emperor's Lackey. I kind of like this card. It's cheap. It's 2 costs, single blood. You can splash it anywhere. It comes out, and when you put it down, it's going to be a 4/4, and so you can at least block something that's bigger. It's going to be a 4/4. But at the start of your turn, it's going to be 3/3. So you'll be able to swing with it for, 3 at least, hopefully. And then, if you're in the shin hair, you're probably creating bunnies. So you'll always have maybe a bunny to be able to revert it back to a 4/4. So it's kind of has the makings of a sticky troop, but not quite. It can be removed. Hard removal is obviously going to get rid of it. So, but I do like that card. Just given its cost, it's cheap, and it's, you know, it's basically a two cost 3/3 by the time you get to use it. So it's pretty good. Next one we got is Arachnophobia. Not sure what to think about this one. Again, it's these spiderling eggs, but it's a 3-cost double blood. Basic action. Create 2 spiderling eggs for each opposing champion. Put them into their decks. Then each opposing champion chooses and discards 2 cards. So I think this is right along the same lines as Inquisition. You know, it's just a 3-cost. You know, get rid of 2 cards. Granted, you can't see them because they get to choose them. Other than, like, I think, do you get to see them with Inquisition? No, you don't. They just choose with Inquisition too. So you get rid of 2 cards out of their hand. So I think it's right on par with that there, and I think this is a good card. I think this one will probably see a lot of play in all formats. What do we got next? Harvest of Sorrow. Harvest of Sorrow, 3 casting cost, 1 blood. Quick action, draw a card for each troop that died this turn. This could go well with the Mushwaki. Granted, it won't be that way in drafts because I think drafts go in 3/3/3. But you know, maybe sealed. I don't know what they're going to do with sealed. If you did put this in your constructed deck, I would probably pair it with Mushwaki because he comes in, he eats troops, and then you can play this. If you have any resources left, and draw cards to, you know, refill your hand. So let's see what we got next. Pain Breeder. Pain Breeder is here. 3 casting cost, double blood. It's a 2/3 troop, and it says when a spider enters play under your control, it gets +1/+1. Situational card here. You gotta have spiders. Again, they could be spiderlings, they could be tarantulas, they could be the next card we're going to talk about. But situational cards, it's on par. It's a 2/3 for 3. Let's see here. Next one we got is Warlock of Atyr. I think that's how you pronounce that. Warlock of Atyr. Attire, something along those lines. Another 3-cost double blood. It's a 1/1 troop, and you can sacrifice another troop, and this gets +2/+2 this turn. Not that great of an ability. Its 1 shot isn't too bad though. Sacrifice another troop, and this gets +2/+2 this turn. So you could, you know, shift that onto somebody else one time. So that kind of makes it worth it, but not really. So this card might wheel in draft. You know, you never know, depending on, you know, if somebody's going the necrotic archetype or trying to build a necrotic deck of some sort, which is very possible. There are a lot of necrotic cards out there. Definitely limited, probably not constructed too much. What do we got next? Profane Ritualist. And you are here, and this is a 4 casting cost, double blood, 1/1. It says when another troop dies, this gets +1/+1. It is a flyer, and it's very similar to, I think it's the Shinhair Eulogist, where it gets +1/+1 for every troop that dies. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah. Good. It pairs well with Shinhair Eulogist. So if you have both those cards, because I think they both do basically the same thing when something dies. But this, I think. Let's see here. This is when. And I don't think these have to be your troops. I think Shinhair Eulogist has to be your troops. So the way I read it there says when another troop dies. So it could be any troops. I think that's the difference between that one and Shinhair Eulogist and the Profane Ritualist. So it's 4 costs though. It's pretty expensive. You gotta wait too long to get any use out of it, I think. Duskwing Reclaimer is our next one we're going to be talking about, and you are right here. 5 cost, 2/4 flyer. When this enters play, void a target troop in an opposing graveyard. Choose and gain a threshold you don't have. This would pair well with the we just talked about it, and I said, oh, we got that one right there. Where was it? Do you remember? Right here. We just talked about it too. Prodigy, the Prodigy Vola Sola, pair well with that because you can use it to get your threshold. But again, it's 5 costs, so you know by the time that turn rolls around, if you don't have all 5 threshold, well, you probably won't. This guy will definitely help you out. Getting those 5 color decks, not impossible, but they're kind of tough. Oh, what do we got next here? Incubate. Not a whole lot to say about this card. It's the egg thing again. Create 3 of them. I don't know. It's the egg thing. So they're really pushing eggs and blood here. So I'm curious to see if eggs is going to be like a draft archetype, which I'm sure it probably will be. You know, we'll just see how it all works. You know, who knows. Next one here is Taint. I do like this card. It's 1 cost, 1 blood threshold. Target troop gets -1/-1 permanently. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a quick action. So if you are battling, you know, another troop blocks you, or you block a troop, and you just need this to finish it off, you certainly could. You know, you could use this, and you could just keep beating down a troop, and then use the Noxious Glory to get rid of everything that has 2 attack or less. I mean, this thing here is pretty versatile. I do like it a lot, and I think it'll probably see a lot of play. Oh, we got next Hatchery Priest. Where are you at? Down in the H's here. Hatchery Priest, 1 casting cost, single blood threshold. It is a venom, and it creates Spiderling egg for each opposing champion. That much really to say about that one. It's an egg generator. Next one we got is Abominate. This is a card I think will probably see decent amount of play in all formats, draft, sealed, and constructed. I mean, it's 2 casting cost, basic action. Granted, it has to be done on your turn, so your opponent's going to be able to see what's going on, but target troop gets +3/+3. And it's not just his turn, it's till the end of the game, so I would be willing to bet this will see quite a bit of play. But that's just my opinion. Oh, we got next. Touch of Zentoth is a 2 casting cost, single blood threshold, basic action. It says target troop you control gets unblockable, and when it deals damage to the opposing champion, that champion creates a spiraling egg for each damage dealt, and puts them into their deck this turn. So again, pushing more eggs. I think maybe CZE's wanting to push these eggs on us just because. I don't know. We'll see. Next we got is Sudden Awakening. Now this is definitely a good card, I think. 2 casting cost, single blood thresholds, a quick action. Put target troop in your graveyard that died this turn into play. So you use your troops to block something, it kills it, and then you drop this at the end of your turn, put it back into play, and you can use it your following turn. I think this is all around great card. I think this one will see a lot of play as well. Next we got is Bloat Cap. Really not a whole lot to say about this card. It's a 2 cost 1/1, and when it dies, your opponent has to discard a card. So I don't think it's bad. It's, you know, not like fantastic, but it gets rid of a card. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that at all. Next one here, Egg Blight Afflictor. Is that how you pronounce that? Egg Blight Afflictor. It's a 2/1 for 2, and it's an egg generator, and it can't block. Not much else to say about that one. Untamed Duskwing is the next one we got, and that is a 2 cost 1/2 flyer. No text. Sure, you know, nothing wrong with that. It's no different than, well, I should say it's different than that one. I was going to say the 1 cost 1/1 flyer and Sapphire. But, you know, has a bigger butt on it, but not much. It's still easily removed by burn, anything like that. So, yeah, it's a common. Gem Soul Feeder. 3 casting cost 2/2. I do like its shift ability. You can give something life drain if that's your thing, you know, gaining life. Generally, I don't play a lot of things with, you know, that gain me life or do a life drain, but if you're getting low and you have this in your deck and limited, and you have something you can swing in, or, you know, swing with that, you know, will get you 4, 5, 6 life back, why not? Why not do it? Then we got Vile Fang Eremite. 3 casting cost, double blood, 1/4. This is when the spider enters play under your control. This deals 1 damage to opposing champion, gain health equal to the damage dealt this way. It's kind of similar to I want to say it's similar to the Paladin of Necropolis, and that's it deals 1 damage for every threshold you gain, but I don't think you gain health. There's another card that does that, so it's similar to that, but, you know, again, you have to be, the spiders have to enter play, so it's kind of situational again, if you want to call playing spider situational, but... next one here we have is Giant Spider Pawn, forecasting cost 4/2. Not a whole lot to say about that one. It's not a good card. It's a filler, and it's a spider, so I guess it pairs well with the Vile Fang, but it's about it. Merciless Color, not color, but cooler. Where'd you go? You are right here. Forecasting cost, double blood, 3/2. When it enters play, each champion sacrifices a troop. I think this is pretty decent, you know, limited removal. You know, if I don't think you could play this by itself because you have to kill it, unless you want to use it for straight up removal like that. You could, but if you play it by yourself, you're gonna have to kill it. Granted, the opposing your opponent's gonna have to kill something too. So maybe he has just one big bomb in the field and you have nothing. You just use this for straight up removal. I don't see anything wrong with that. That would be kind of like a board wipe. So I think it's okay. Shadowblade Assassin is our next card, and we have that is a forecasting cost, 1 blood. It's a 3/3, so it's 3/3 for 4 isn't horrible, and you can shift lethal onto something, and it has lethal. It doesn't have lethal in green though. Is that just kind of an error? Or I've seen a couple cards that don't have those keywords in green. I'm just wondering if they just didn't put it green, or does the white lethal mean that when you shift lethal from this, lethal goes with it? I wouldn't think so, but maybe. But anyway, it's a 3/3 with lethal for 4, and you can shift it around. So what we got next here? Faggy? I don't know how you want to pronounce that. But anyway, it's a 5 casting cost, double blood, basic action, destroy target opposing troop. So for 5, you can destroy something, get rid of it. It's a pretty expensive murder, and it creates 4 spiderling eggs and puts them into the controller's deck. So what can't murder do that this could? Artifacts. So that's okay. That's good, right? Kind of. You know, it's expensive, but next one we got here is Vanpegasus. Never thought I would see a vampire flying horse, but here is one with fangs. 5 casting cost, 3/3. Sacrifice a troop. This gets flight this turn. Not a good card at all. Not much to say about that one. Next one is Vicious Vivisector. 5 casting costs, 3/5. It is a Venom. It's got Venom Allegiance, and it says when this enters play, bury the top 3 cards of each opposing champion's deck. I don't think this is a bad card at all. It's got decent attack. It's got a decent back end, so it probably will. It's going to be not impossible to remove, but it's going to be, it's definitely out of, those 1 casting cost, burn spells, Bombsmith, Boomsmith, all that stuff. So I mean, it could be. It's I wouldn't want to call it. I want to call it a bomb, but it's not horrible. Let's just put it that way. Hatchery Broodguard is our next one, and he is right here. Hatchery Broodguard, 6 casting cost, single blood threshold. It's a 4/5. We're getting a little bit far away there. It says when this enters play, you create 6 spiraling eggs for each opposing champion, put them into their decks. Again, we're pushing those eggs. I think CZ is really pushing those eggs hard. This is common. I mean, a lot of these things that create these eggs are common, so you're going to be able to have a lot of them. So I'm thinking that it's just these spider decks or these egg decks are just going to be a draft archetype, and we'll see how they work. Maybe they'll work, maybe they won't work, but they're definitely going to be filling some people's decks up with eggs, and we'll see what happens from there. I think that's all the blood cards. It is. So that's the Blood Shard from Armies of Myth. Kind of my thoughts and opinions on the cards. Granted, I don't have a ton of experience with TCGs. I'm sure some of you out there probably have a little more experience than I do, and maybe can better tell if some of these cards are, constructed worthy or limited worthy. I try to take my best guess where I think they'll fit. Some of them definitely have constructed written all over them. Other ones have limited written all over them. Other ones just seem like filler cards to me. But, let me know what you guys think about the Blood Shard. What's some of your favorite cards out of this this shard from this set. You know, I don't know if I really have a favorite one. If I had to pick one right now, I don't know, that'd be tough. That'd be kind of tough. I might have to go with Sudden Awakening. Maybe I like that one. I mean, there's not a lot of blood in here that I like. You know, there's some good ones, but eh. Other than that, if you like this video, go and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these videos, be sure to click subscribe down below, and we'll have another video for you soon.